Welcome to the Florida Trail Runners Project. Out in the woods, out in the swamps, down by the Willie Coochie. It started with a podcast, now it's a thing. The Florida Trail Runners. Florida Trail Runners.
All right, here we are with episode 124 of the Florida Trail Runners podcast. And on the chat, we've got Shannon Rearden. In this episode, we sit down with Shannon, talk the trails, talk racing, the treadmill ultra, and even get into space and engineering. As for Shannon, her journey started on the trails of Alabama and has quickly evolved into tackling some of the toughest challenges in the Southeast, from Georgia to here in Florida. Outside of running too, Shannon is a University of Alabama graduate and works as a quality engineer in Honeywell's space division. So hey, with that, let's just jump right into it.
Out to the East Coast, Daytona, Jacksonville, Pioneer Trail. On a single trail, running 1 to 100 miles, aid station to aid station.
Hey!
Hey!
What's up?
Just watching a beautiful sunset right now. What about you?
Oh yeah, you were on the side of the state where you can see it.
Oh, can you not?
I mean, not like yours, because I have trees and I'm further away from the coast.
Well, that's fair. But you're closer to the trails.
Beach is kind of nice, but it is very convenient for race directing.
Yeah, it would be rough if you had to drive out there multiple times, like set up the course and then be out there all day. But I guess you drive down here multiple times. You're down here like every day.
Well, yeah, I do work north of Ybor.
I like my 25-minute bike commute. That's pretty great.
And that people thought you didn't have a car.
Oh my gosh, yeah! My boss was all concerned that I was not gonna, if I worked from home and they needed me immediately, he's like, well, you could probably be here fast, but, you'd have to bike all this way. I was like, I have a car. It's like, I could drive. They just couldn't fathom why you would bike 5 miles when you could drive. But, biking 5 miles is nothing.
That's not that far.
Florida. It's beautiful out. It's not like I'm biking in, 5 feet of snow.
So I know you're an East Coast Adventures runner. I guess I'll kick it off with, taken from their podcast with that kind of dirt and vert style opening question, which I guess, tell us who you are and, where did running actually start for you? Were you an athlete growing up or did it start in college?
So running for me, I'd say it started in high school. My sister was a track athlete, so she ran the 400 hurdles, but we're only 18 months separated. So I figured I can't do track. That's kind of her thing. So I did lacrosse instead. And that was purely because the lacrosse team did not have enough players, so they couldn't cut anyone because I was not super athletic. I am not athletically inclined, and I don't have great hand-eye coordination. But if you ran a sport, then you didn't have to do a second gym class. And I wanted to get out of gym class because I just wanted to take more AP classes. So I joined lacrosse because they couldn't cut me from it or tell me that I couldn't. That being said, that I was not great at lacrosse. I would dread when we'd have to go run a mile because I couldn't run a mile. I probably could have if I had bothered to practice or try whatsoever, but I was there to get out of gym class, so I didn't practice outside of actual practice and just kind of coasted my way through it. So I didn't really find running until college.
Yeah, but women's lacrosse, I've seen it before when I was in college. I mean, the field is smaller than the men's field, and the lines are different. So there's a lot more contact in the women's lacrosse.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I was on defense too. You can straight up hit people with the lacrosse sticks, and you don't have any gear on. Like men's lacrosse, you're wearing pads, you've got a helmet. Girls, we've got a mouth guard and a pair of goggles, and that's it. You're just running around hitting people with these sticks.
It's kind of like the difference between men's and women's soccer. It's a lot more, I feel like the women are, it's so much more aggressive.
It is. You'll have girls pulling hair. You could get full out fights going on, which seems counterintuitive. You'd think that men's sports would be more aggressive, but I guess they have better rules in place to prevent that.
But even in lacrosse, you also, I mean, you're still running a lot of miles on the course or in the field.
It's not as many as you'd think, not unless you're playing midfield. It's like on defense, you're mostly sequestered to one half of the field. And even for that, like if your offense is doing a good enough job, then you don't have to deal with people very often. And then you can just kind of like meander around your half and wait for someone to come by. And keep in mind, I was doing the bare minimum. I was not the one out there defending the goal. I was finding somewhere where I could stand and possibly hit people.
But yeah, I mean, even with lax, I mean, when you were in college, how did you decide to go running?
Well, so I went to the University of Alabama, and if you're familiar with like the large SEC schools at all, the campuses are huge. And I am rather directionally challenged. So I would go out and just wander campus trying to figure out where all of these buildings are. So I would just like disappear from the dorms and go out walking for like hours, just trying to figure out like the lay of the land, figure out the campus. Where is everything? Plus, I just like being outside and I was enjoying the sunshine. So, like, I had 3 roommates and they would get kind of concerned because I'd just disappear for a couple of hours to go walk around and like wander aimlessly at random hours. So they wanted me to like find people to go and walk with or find people to be outside with. I think they were just trying to look out for me. But they had like one day for all of the freshmen is the get on board day. So that's when all of the local clubs and like the sports teams and everyone sets up a booth and you go and you walk around and look at all of the different clubs that you could potentially join. And one of them was the running club. So my roommates kind of jokingly signed me up for it because they knew, 'cause, like they would tell me to go and run and I would tell them I don't run. Like I am not a runner. That's not me. My sister was a runner. I can't even run a mile. I don't run. I just wander. So they kind of signed me up for it as a joke, but also as like a please like go wander campus with other people. And so I got an email from this run club with their schedule of practices and like their first practice. I was like, what the heck is this? I'm not a runner. I'm not doing this run club. They're like, well, you should just go to one. Like, just try it. I was like, all right. Like, screw you. Whatever. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do this run club thing. So I get there and like University of Alabama, it's a D1 school. So on the running club team, you have everyone who decided they didn't want to be a D1 track athlete and me who can't run. So they start out and they're like, all right, we're just going to do like an easy 3-mile loop around campus, just like kind of get to know each other. We're going to talk. And I'm standing there, I'm like, easy? 3 miles? What is that? Like, that does not sound easy. There's nothing easy about 3 miles. But I don't know anyone there, and I'm like the small freshman. I'm not going to raise my hand and say anything. They all take off running, and it's not even a quarter of a mile. I have to stop. Like, and I'm just walking. I'm dying. I am not in that kind of physical shape to be running. Like, I'm fit, but I'm not cardiovascularly fit. And like one of the guys from the front who happened to be the president of the club sees me back there and like he lets everyone else keep going and comes back and he's walking with me. And he just kind of looks at me and he's like, why did you show up? I was like, well, look, dude, like clearly I'm not a runner, but like I kind of wish that I was. Like this group is cool. It would have been fun. And he just looks at me and he's like, you just ran a quarter of a mile. You are a runner.
Oh, there we go.
I was like, what? Like, no, that's not like everyone else is out there running. And he was like, no, welcome to the club. Like, if you run any amount of steps, you're a runner. So congratulations, you're now a runner. And if you show up every day to our practices, then before you know it, you're going to be up with all the rest of us and you're going to be running. And we do a half marathon in February and it's in New Orleans and we all go as a club and you're going to run it. And I just look at this guy. I was like I like the sound of that. I like I don't fully believe it, but I like the idea. And so that's what I did. I started showing up to this run club every day that they had practices and running with them. and would do like extra workouts in the gym, just like trying to build up fitness and get into quote unquote running shape. And sure enough, the half marathon happened that February, and I went, and some of my friends came out to support it. My whole family thought it was crazy when I told them I was training for a half marathon. They were like, "You don't run." I was like, "I know I don't, but I do now." They're like, "Are you sure?"
You just had to go back to your roommates like, yep, I went there. I made it a little bit. And hey, I've got a half marathon I've got to do. Okay.
Oh, 100%. The whole, like, it was half fueled by wanting it and half fueled out of like spite of like, oh, look at me now, I'm a runner.
But yeah, how did that half marathon go? Was it fun?
Oh, I loved it. It was one of the rock and roll half marathon series. So they always put on like a huge event. I remember they were handing out jello shots at mile 11 as a 19-year-old getting handed jello shots. It's like, oh, they can't ID me here. It's like grabbing three of them as I was running. Like it was just so much fun. I think I ran like a 1:58 or so. It's like coming from never having run to running a half marathon, like it exceeded all of my expectations. I wasn't super fast, but that was like farther than I ever thought I could go. It was
That's still a solid time too.
Yeah, I thought it would be. I really wanted to break two, but I didn't think that I could. So all of my friends, I gave them my tracking number because they weren't running. Like some of them just traveled down to come and support me and to have a trip to New Orleans. And afterwards, they were like, "You said that you wouldn't even be close to 2 hours. Like we were following you on the tracker. We had to leave the beignets because we had to come to the finish line because you were already here." Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt the beignets. It's important. But after that, I got the running bug, and it's been there ever since.
Yeah, because after that, I mean, eventually you did kind of go into the trail side of things. Like how did you find out about the trails?
So one of the girls on Run Club, she ended up being president, and I was vice president. We're still really good friends. Her name is Meredith, but she got really into the trail scene and started slowly pulling the rest of us into it.
That's how it works.
So,
Yep.
yep. One person gets in, and slowly everyone else gets convinced. Oh, but at first I hated it. Like the first race I ever did on trails, it was like the Darter Dash 10K out in
Yeah.
Alabama. And I'm a road runner. I've only run roads. So, first off, I didn't have trail shoes, and the East Coast trails are no joke. And also, I was very much pace obsessed. So, anytime that my pace would get below like an 8 minute or a 7:30, I felt like I was failing the world because, like, that's just slow. So, to be on these technical trails in road shoes. And like at one point we're crossing a stream and it's a 10K and it like I'm not going fast at all. And I was very frustrated by that. So I thought for sure at the end of that race that I would never do trail runs again. I was like, this was miserable. Like, I need the road. Like, you can't rip on trails. This is impossible. Why would people do this? Like, getting eaten by mosquitoes. But then the next year, she pulls everyone back in. I was like, all right. Like, I'm not going to say no to a race opportunity. Like, I'll go back. And then that year, I won third female. And I've only been doing road races and mostly larger road races. And I'm not winning these things. Like, I'm fast-ish, but like solid middle of the pack type thing for these major marathons. So to actually win an event, even though it was like the tiny Darter Dash 10K, and I got like a fish plaque with third place on it. I was like, oh, this is actually very fun now. Like, it's not fun when I'm running it, but it's kind of fun if I can win them. So then I was more intrigued.
Yeah, because the
And
Darter Dash, that's in Pinson, Alabama. Pinson,
yes,
Alabama.
it is. Oh,
I
it's
mean,
a fun race though. It's such a good time. And then afterwards they'll serve up mimosas and they're making pancakes and everyone's hanging out and you can take inner tubes and go down the water. Like it's a good time.
and see, I feel like that's the big thing with the trail race. After rock and roll, unless you somehow get third place overall and they're like, hey, you're upgraded to VIP. For the rest of everybody else, it's like, hey, here's your banana, here's a Gatorade. Like,
Yeah.
after this, I mean, you got a whole spread of things. With that trail running, what was it? The environment, the people, the challenge?
All of the above. Like, and it took a few times for me to really appreciate it. But oh my gosh, the after parties, especially, just like the community, everyone's hanging out after the race. They're like, maybe the race was hard. Maybe you fell a billion times on a bunch of different things. Maybe you got lost midway, but everyone's there and it's like you're all kind of in it together. And I like that. And like you were saying, that's very different from after a road race. Like, no one's really hanging out to meet you. Like, they'll meet up with their friends or whoever they know afterwards. But, like, you don't meet other people that way. Well, with trail running, you kind of get to know everyone.
Yeah, there's definitely that community aspect after, pretty much every single race. And then eventually you did stick to the trail because you did the a trail half marathon out at Wade Mountain.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I learned a lot during that race. No, that was another one engineered by my friend Meredith. She had found this race and there's the full marathon, the half marathon, and the 10K out at Wade Mountain. And everyone else was signing up for the 10K. Well, I'm an ambitious person. If we're going to travel all the way out there, I want to at least do a half marathon. So I was the only one who signed up for the half marathon. And at this point, my only experience with the trails is the Darter Dash 10K, which is not on a mountain. It's trail, it's got some hills, but it's not a mountain. And my only half marathon experience is flat, like dead flat. So I have no idea what I'm getting into. I don't know how to fuel these things. I don't know how to like hydrate for them. I don't know about electrolytes. I know nothing. I show up with a single go packet and road shoes again, because at this point I still have not discovered trail shoes or bothered to invest in them, is probably the proper term. And within the first mile, someone, because you start going up the mountain, like it's immediately this huge incline. So it's a bit of a conga line going up. And one of the people several spots in front of me somehow knocks down a beehive. And next thing I know, we're not even a mile in, and my ankles are completely covered in bee stings, like so swollen up. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I've still got so many miles to go and like everything hurts. So I just start ripping because like I figured the faster you run, the less you'll feel it. Like at that point, everything just hurt. My adrenaline is through the roof. Like I'm just flying back and forth past these people. Well, I'm also not drinking anything or taking electrolytes or eating anything. So around 7 miles in, because I don't think I had anything before the race either. So like I am completely depleted and I fall apart. And next thing you know, I'm in the middle of a race on a mountain with my singular goo packet and a bunch of stung up ankles. And oh my gosh, it was a rough finish. The first couple of miles I was killing it and then everything fell apart. It's like, wow, I have so much to learn. But the trail community really comes through for you. It's like I was out there and like I was not running anymore. Like I was bonking hard. And some guy offers me like 3 bags of graham crackers. I was like, what is this? He's like, eat these, you'll feel better. And sure enough, like I down these graham crackers and like I start to feel more alive. Like I don't think I have no idea how I would have made it to the finish without this guy giving me those bags of graham crackers. It's like I was very depleted. But after that, I know it was challenging. It was really hard. It sucked. I failed miserably at it, but there's something very intriguing about something that you can see other people doing so well and you're not doing well, like I wanted to figure out how to do it well. Like what were they doing that I wasn't?
Which is wild compared to now, because now you're doing like 8 hours of berm.
Berm, yeah. But same concept, like it's a suffer fest.
It is,
I'm
yes,
a
it
sucker for
is.
a good suffer fest.
Which, like, at some point, people either go, "You know what? I'm gonna go back to the roads, do the half, do the full marathon." But some people just say, "All right, I'm sticking to this ultra thing." So it's like death by 5K. I know you did the Spartan 50K. What drew you into those?
Well, so around 2021, I joined a CrossFit gym.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah. Like now it all ties together. But I I've been just running and like COVID hit pretty hard. I lost a lot of muscle mass. I was a very, very small human and was doing no weight training whatsoever. And it got to the point where I was moving back into my college apartment and I couldn't close the hatchback of my car. Like I physically didn't have enough arm strength to push it down. And that was a moment when I realized that something needed to change. I needed to start doing strength things because it's scary. Like I'm not looking to be like a physique competitor strong, but like I'd like to be able to function as a normal human being. So I did some research and a friend of mine, Maddie, was working out at a gym called Iron Tribe in Tuscaloosa. And she said that she would take me one day. So I took her up on that and she took me into the class and I got humbled really fast. So fast. Oh my gosh. These people, like, CrossFit workouts, like, they're crazy. These people are so strong. They're lifting weights like they're nothing. They're doing like burpee broad jumps over the sides of bars. They're doing like different muscle ups on like it's crazy. And then there I am, and like I can barely pick up any of these weights. I don't know what these movements are. I can go run for all eternity, but I am lost. But it it intrigued me a lot. Like seeing the strength of all of those people. Like I wanted that. I wanted to be able to do that. So I signed up for the gym and sold my soul to CrossFit. So I was still doing running because run club and still doing random races, but I started doing CrossFit every morning at 6:30 a.m. And there's a whole group of people who would show up to that class every single day. And they really took me in as one of their own. One of my best friends, her name is also Shannon, but she's basically double me. So like double my age, probably more than double my strength. Like most badass person you could ever meet. But I think purely because both of our names are Shannon, we became friends instantly. And she's the one who convinced me to start doing Spartans. And her mindset, I think if she was a runner, she would definitely be an ultra runner. Like she's got that drive. So we challenge each other to do all sorts of crazy things. But once I started doing CrossFit and hanging out more around those people, you start to get the idea that you can do anything. So, yeah, that's how things like Death by 5K and like the Spartan 50K out in Newberry. I did a couple of Spartan 10Ks, but like really leaning further into the what am I capable of slash sufferfest type of races away from like the road half marathon type stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like I remember you saying that, like, the Spartan 50K was your first real 50K
It
or
was.
or the real ultra.
Well, because so I did Death by 5K, but if you're familiar with that race, it's 10 5Ks split up evenly throughout 24 hours. So you have like 2.5 hours before the start of the next 5K. So it is a 50K, but it's not exactly because like 2.5 hours, you've got plenty of time after a 5K. I mean, the hardest part of it is just surviving through it. It's like it's in Alabama, it's in November. It gets cold. Like it's a long time to be out there. You have a lot of people drop just because they're tired of it. It's a lot of circles. But I'm not sure I'd really like it's an ultra, but it's not, you know? Like you're still covering the distance and it's still a lot of time, but it's a different kind of endurance. Like that one's way more mental than it is a physical 50K. And you're not really ripping all of the 5Ks because you've got 2.5 hours. Like you could easily just you could walk that as slow as you wanted and still finish. But then the Spartan 50K was my first quote unquote real ultra. And again, it's a different kind of ultra because it's not just a 50K, but also 60 obstacles. So you're
Oh
running
yeah,
a
that's right.
50K, but you're also like scaling an 8-foot wall and you're carrying heavy sandbags up mountains. And, so it's a 50K, but different.
I mean, it's definitely pretty hard.
Oh, for sure. Oh, some of those obstacles are crazy. Gosh, there's one, my favorite one probably is where it's a rope and it's completely horizontal and if you feel like you're in one of those action movies because you have to hang upside down on it and caterpillar your way across it to ring a bell. You can't tell me that's not something out of a James Bond movie. Like I feel like I'm Indiana Jones going across that thing. But stuff like that. So on top of your 30 something miles, because it's never exactly a 50K, it's always way more by the end of it. They call them Spartan miles. Somewhere along the course, you're going to end up with extra somehow.
And
But
those and those miles are free.
yeah, they add them on. Oh,
But
but it
it's
was
like
so much fun.
but it's like at some point, now that you've done that, I mean, you decided to at least go for the next distance. It's like, when or how did you decide to go for 50 miles? Because you didn't pick an easy 50 miler. You picked pretty much the hardest 50 miler on the Southeast.
Dude, go big or go home. Gosh. Yeah, because everyone was talking about how hard Cruel Jewel was, and that just makes you want it more. Like, don't tempt me with a good time now. Like, I will sign up for anything if you tell me it's miserable, just because I want to go and do it. So yeah, I started eyeing up Cruel Jewel. But so 2023, I had run, and they're not on Ultra sign up, but it's like the Xterra Americas Trail Championship.
Whoa, yeah.
And I ended up placing second in that and qualifying for Worlds. So then at the end of 2023, I ran in the Xterra World Championship. And that one was held up in Sugarloaf, Maine, like on the border of Canada. And you
Whoa,
start
yeah.
the race going vertical straight up the ski slope. And I thought I knew mountains. I knew Alabama mountains. I'd seen some pretty steep stuff, but nothing prepared me for that. And I got humbled so fast because you're out there and the French national team is there, the Canadian national, all of it's the world championship.
I
And then
mean,
there's
like,
me.
Joe Gray is out there, Grayson
Yeah.
Murphy is out there. There's
Yeah.
another girl I know from Colorado, she's out there.
And then there's me, and my dad came out to support me, and he brought an American flag, and he's like, "In case you win, that way you have something to hold." I don't think you realize, I feel like I'm here on a fluke. I'm not supposed to be here. But so, anyways, I got completely humbled just going up that first incline because I don't know how to run that kind of stuff. That's really steep all of a sudden. But it was beautiful and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I ended up in 36th place, which I was proud of for me, but it's nothing. But after that race, I was like, all right, I need to get better at these hard climbs. I need to find things with climbs. So that's how I wound up at Cruel Jewel. It's like, this will get me better at climbs. I'll go climb all of these mountains out in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So yeah, I signed up for that, and I hired a coach as well because I realized I had no idea what I was doing. Like, having never done running with someone telling me how to do running. It's like, I didn't do cross country, I didn't do track, I'd never had like structured training. I was just kind of whatever I could find online and fake it till you make it. Like, it would be kind of nice to like learn how to do workouts, and, like, learn what a training block should look like, and have someone to give me feedback on like how to build speed, how to build endurance. So I started working with alpine running guides, and my coach Forrest was fantastic, and he really taught me a lot about like how to train for ultras and like back-to-back long runs, which I'd never heard of before, and like structured speed workouts and stuff like that. So he helped me train to be able to do Cruel Jewel, which, looking at my time, you would never guess that I was in fantastic shape, because I think I ended up with like 20 hours on that thing. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
totally miserable, but like it was a learning experience.
Well, that's just the nick of North Georgia. You don't know what kind of weather you're gonna get.
Well, that was the thing. So around mile 30 or so, a thunderstorm rolled in. And we're talking like torrential downpour. So many people started to drop, and it's like lightning everywhere. And it's not flat, and it's not pavement. So suddenly you're trying to go up these mountains. Well, the mountains are mudslides. So you're sliding all the way down the whole thing. And then when you get to the other side of the mountain, you can't run down that. Like, you've got to sit down, and you're just like sliding down, and it's getting darker, and it's cold now. It's May in Georgia. You're not expecting it to be cold, but you're wet, and you've been out running for a while. Like, it just turned into a mess. Like, it was crazy out there. And then I was not expecting, I thought for sure I would be done within like a reasonable amount of time. So I didn't have backup batteries for my headlight. So it's the middle of the night, it's still pouring rain, and my headlight dies. And at this point, like, you're so far spread out from everyone else that I'm in the middle of the woods in Georgia in the pouring rain with no light and no idea where I am. And it was terrifying. Like, I had no clue. I figured maybe I could trace back my steps and try and find an aid station that was a few miles back. But for the most part, I'm just standing there, not quite sure what to do, and thinking maybe I'll just live out here on this mountain for the rest of time, because who's gonna find me? So I'm hanging out there. I don't even know how much time passes while I'm trying to debate where I should go and if I can go anywhere, when I see a headlight in the distance. So then I start moving towards that headlight. And sure enough, like, this runner and his pacer come through. And the cool thing with Cruel Jewel is the 50s start the day after the 100s. So the 100s have already been all the way to the start of the 50s, and then they head back with all of the 50 milers. So this guy is on like mile 80 or so of his 100 miler, and he's got a pacer with him. And I was just struck by like how good of spirits this dude was in. Like, he's been running forever. Like, I feel like I've been running forever, and he's been running for a whole day more than I have.
This dude's been running since Friday evening.
Yeah, and he's having a blast, and I'm out here having a, like, I'm in my own little pity pool of, this is so hard, this is so terrible, I'm never gonna make it out of here. And here comes this guy, just like so jolly, chatting it up with his pacer. And they see me, and he's like, "You don't have a light." I was like, "I'm aware, it died." And he just reaches into his pack and he hands me one. He's like, "I've got extras." What? He's like, "Yeah, use that light and go and finish." And then like he passes me with his pacer, and I'm still like trying to figure out what is going on here. I'm not sure if he's real. But so I put on this headlight, and sure enough, I can see. And then it's like, all right, now I have to finish because this dude just gave me a headlight. And like, this is a nice headlight. And he just handed it to me. Like, no expectations that I would ever give it back. He probably will never see me again. And like, he's been out here forever. What if he needed this headlight? What if his headlight died? Like, he just gave this to me. Like, now it is my responsibility to finish this race. So I make it to the finish. But that was, yeah, someday I need to go back and like actually get a decent time on that. Because, oh my gosh, I look at that 20 hours and like a part of my soul dies.
Well, I mean, 20 hours is pretty realistic. Sometimes it just be that way.
That day it was that way.
And you got to keep in mind, too, I love Sarah Snyder, fantastic race director. And it does say it on Ultra Sign Up. It is 57.5 miles.
I ended at 60 something. But to be fair, I was wandering out in the woods for a bit. So that's not on her. But that's how the pointless out and back is crazy, though. That whole time, I was so upset to be. All the signs along the way are like, if this was a regular 50, you would be done by now. Oh.
Yeah, I
But that's why
DNF'd 100. I DNF'd 100 before the pointless out and back. And I think that was like Wolf Creek, Wolf Den, Wolf Gap, Wolf, whatever it's called. It was like right before, well, from the 100 miles perspective, you've hit the dragon spine and then you move into that area. But that's one of my favorite parts is that dragon spine. And, you know, what did you think of all of that elevation? Like if you don't know where to go, just look up.
Honestly, oh my gosh, in some points, you're not running that, you're climbing that. Like you're full out bouldering this mountain. Oh, but I liked at the end of the dragon spine when they gave you, I don't know if they did it the year that you went, but they had like little dragon pins. And as you come off of the dragon spine, they pin these dragon pins onto you. They're like, congratulations, you conquered the spine. Like, wow, I feel so accomplished. It's almost worth it. Almost. The views from up top, though, were gorgeous. It really is such a beautiful area.
Yeah, because I mean, it's definitely a wild ride from Run Club, barely making it a mile. And then you go to you go to the half marathon, you're rocking trail 10Ks, half marathons to 50 miles. But eventually you end up in Florida.
I do. So that was actually almost a year ago to the day I wound up down here. So for a while I was out in Birmingham. I was working out there doing quality engineering things for Mercedes-Benz, the lead design engineer for the doors on their SUVs, which was a fun time. But I was looking to get out of automotive, wanted to go into more aerospace, and for whatever reason, Clearwater, Florida has always been on my Maps app on my phone because it is the place that gets the most sunshine in all of the United States. And anytime that it was like really cold or snowy or rainy, I like to see that Clearwater, Florida has sun because it reminds me that somewhere at least is sunny and beautiful. So when I started to apply for jobs, I threw Florida into the hat. It's like, it would be fun to live out in Florida and, you know, be on the beaches, see the sunshine. I'm not a cold weather person. I do not handle cold weather well. I wanted to be somewhere where I could be warm all the time. So I was looking for aerospace engineering jobs and got an interview with Honeywell. And the interview went really well. I got offered a job in the quality engineering department working on space things. And yeah, took the move. I didn't know anyone down here when I moved down here and kind of took the place where I'm living sight unseen because they wouldn't let me tour it because someone was currently living there during the week when I was visiting. So it was a lot of unknown. Just kind of moved my entire life to a job where they couldn't really tell me what I was working on because you need clearance to know. And didn't know where I was moving into, but knew the pictures looked kind of nice, and didn't really know the area, but had visited once and liked it. So, and somehow I got super lucky because all of it worked out very well. And I absolutely love the place that I moved into. It didn't end up being a disaster. I love the stuff that I'm working on, and I love the Florida ultra running community, and really the Florida running scene in general. Like, St. Pete and Tampa are elite. There are so many runners here.
Yeah, it's definitely a wild jump from Alabama.
Now, Alabama's got a great ultra running community. I will give them that.
Yeah, Butts is out there.
Yeah. Oh, and they're fantastic. Like, Oak Mountain is beautiful. And the Birmingham Trail Sisters are a ton of fun. Lots of good friends from that group. But Florida's got a pretty sweet ultra running scene as well.
Yeah, because what was your first Florida race? Was that the Moon Over Croom?
It was. Oh my gosh, and I got humbled in the sand there. Gosh, because I show up and, like, I'm pretty good at these trail half marathons at this point. Like, I've got the course record at Halloween Havoc half marathon, like pretty much all of these local half marathon trail races. I've been doing very well. So I show up and I'm thinking I'm gonna crush Moon Over Croom. I'm thinking I can show up there and win this thing. And the second we turn onto the sand, all hopes of being able to place whatsoever are gone. Like, how do you run and stand? Like, this is not trail. Like, you have no traction. This isn't like jumping over rocks and roots. This isn't the technical nitty gritty. Like, this is just miserable. You can't go anywhere. So, like, I learned very quickly that Florida trails are not Alabama trails. But similar to the trend you'll notice here, something that I find very difficult and annoying turns into something that I'm then determined to do a lot. And that's how I wound up at 8 hours of berm, was if you can't handle running in the sand, then go and do it for 8 hours and maybe you'll be better.
Yeah, you still got a 50K.
Yeah. Oh, and it was fun. I'm already registered for this year's. Like, I love the berm. That thing is a suffer fest and it's great.
That's what's wild too, because you've done trail, you've done paved, that Dirty Beer Run, sand, 8 hours of berm, back to the paved with Pinellas Trail Challenge and the Legacy Trail, and then you got nighttime trail with the Wild Boar Night Run.
I mean, if it's there and someone says it's fun, I'm gonna sign up. Legacy Trail was a last minute thing, though. I signed up for that the day before because I just saw it and was like, ooh, that looks like fun. And, like, Sarasota's not all that far away. But yeah, Dirty Beer was just to practice for Pinellas Trail. Because everyone kept being like, oh, you gotta watch out, it's hot. It's like, okay, yes. Like, I get that. They're like, no, 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 you don't understand. Like, you need to practice running in this heat. Okay. It can't possibly be all that different from running in Alabama heat. Alabama's hot. But then everyone said you need to sign up for Dirty Beer so that you can practice for Pinellas Trail. And I'm very glad I signed up for Dirty Beer to practice for Pinellas Trail. Because the Florida humidity hits different. Oh, that was a fun one, though. I'm planning to do, like, all three of those again this year. Dirty Beer, 8 hours, Berm, and Pinellas Trail again.
Yeah, that's such a busy schedule.
I know. It turns August into a mess. But, like,
With-
I can't not do one of them.
I mean, even with the road and the trail, but you've also done the treadmill too. I think it was right before I kicked up the podcast again, but the in-house ultra, it's on the
Yeah.
treadmill over at Run Unlimited. I mean, take me into this one.
Oh my gosh, this one was fun. And so they're doing it again in June. I'm already signed up for Redemption Round because, gosh, it was the weekend after Forgotten Florida 50, which I rolled my ankle and DNF'd. I was kind of heartbroken about it, but my ankle was swollen up so big that I could not navigate the trail. I couldn't run. It was miserable. But this whole time I've been training for this in-house ultra. So it's 5 miles every hour on the hour. So similar to your typical backyard ultra, but because it's treadmills and you're taking out part of the equation of it being outside, like you're very controlled. You can set it and forget it as far as pace goes. So to make it more challenging so that it doesn't go on for all eternity, it's 5 miles every hour. And gosh, going into it, I thought for sure I could beat the female course record, which is currently 95 miles, because
Oh,
they do it here and they do it at a studio in Utah. And one of the girls in Utah had set it at 95 miles. And I thought I could do 100. 5 miles every hour on the hour. Like, I could do it. So I've been training, planning this. Well, after I rolled my ankle, I've got about a week to rehab it up enough to be able to run. And that ankle was not lasting 100 miles. It was already complaining within the first 5. If you ever see video, there are pictures, and the pictures look great. But if you see video of me running during that thing, like I have the biggest sideways limp. Like my ponytail was on my shoulder the whole time because I was so sideways trying to get this ankle to work correctly. But I was determined, and it was during the Winter Olympic season, so we had curling going on all the TVs, and you're just staring at 5 miles every hour. And I made a promise with myself that I was not going to stop in a chair. I was every round going to get up and at least get on the treadmill and start moving. And I was popping ibuprofen, I was popping Tylenol, like anything. Kind of knew within the first 20 miles or so that I was not making it to 100. That would have taken me out from running for so long. It would not have been the right decision. So I went until all of the other girls had dropped, and then I dropped. But I
I was
didn't
gonna,
drop in a chair. I got back on. So technically I made it 43 miles, but that last round doesn't count because I didn't finish the 5.
I was gonna say because you still got 40 miles.
Well, I had to win. And oh my gosh, the other girls were fantastic. Like, and they could have kept going. I know they could have, but I think they were just kind of done with it because it is like mentally very draining. At that point, 40 miles, you're 8 hours in, and that's a long time to be in a treadmill studio on a treadmill running. It's kind of monotonous, which is a nice factor. Like, again, the mental games are fun. Like, I love that it gets boring, but yeah, it was not what I was hoping for as far as my own performance, but the event itself is fantastic. I would highly recommend it. I think with the right people in there, oh, you could get some crazy numbers because you can control for so many of the aspects of that race. Like you're on a treadmill, so your pace, you could set it to whatever you need it to be. And you're so close to like your own aid stations. Like you can control so many of the variables. You don't have weather to deal with. There's no wind. You don't have to deal with headlights. You're not carrying your own gear. Like you can science the shit out of this race. You can make it fantastic. It's just, but so they're doing it again at the end of June, and fingers crossed that nothing else gets injured. I would like to go and break the course record this time for real. But we'll see. We'll see how things go.
I mean, I guess that engineering background does play a big role in it.
Oh, it's a fun science problem. Like, you can pull out spreadsheets for this thing. You can't do that for normal ultras. You can make a spreadsheet, but it doesn't matter. None of that's going to actually happen. Like in this one, because so much of it is in a controlled environment, like you actually can. You can like super dial everything in, at least theoretically. Clearly, I have not succeeded in practice, but the theory behind it is very intriguing.
Well, I feel like that's a lot of things in science. It's all a theory until.
This is true. This is very true.
I guess kind of with that too, because obviously your engineering background. What does a quality engineer in the space division of Honeywell, like what do you actually do? Like what's your day to day?
Oh, every day is an adventure. So I work a lot on like navigational equipment. So recently, everyone's been following it in the news, the Artemis 2 rocket that just launched. So my company actually did all of the navigational equipment that's on board for the Orion spacecraft. So we didn't make like the spacecraft itself, but basically like the brains and the nerves of it are all part of stuff that I work on. So it's a lot of you do a lot with navigational equipment, you're dealing with gyroscopes, you're dealing with accelerometers. It's a lot of math equations for how do you find out where things are in space while they're moving in space. um, but from a quality engineering standpoint, we do a lot of like root cause analysis type things. Anything that goes wrong, we're the ones who are solving what's going wrong and leading the investigations. It's a lot of knowing what is acceptable and what the standards are and making sure that everything meets the standards that it has to, especially with space. Like there's no room for error whatsoever. Like everything counts to the tiniest degree. It matters because if you're a tiny bit off across a 6,500,000 mile journey, you're going to end up way in the wrong area. Like every degree matters. And with Artemis 2, like lives are now on the line. With Artemis 3, they're landing on the moon. Like it's really high stakes kind of stuff. Like quality engineers are kind of the gatekeepers. We're the ones who have to sign off on everything when it's all said and done and say, yes, this is okay. And if it's not, then we have to figure out why it's not okay so that they can fix it.
Yeah, because I feel like you always hear about like, oh, this is the acceptable risk. But it's like, how does quality like what does quality actually mean when failure is still not an option? Like how do you test something that like really hasn't been in space yet?
Oh, you run it through a million different tests. Like we've got a test for everything. Like, you simulate space to the best degree that you can simulate space. And especially while they're up in space, they're running tests up there to help us know down here what we should be running tests on, better simulate what they experience in space, if that makes sense.
Like
Like
I
we're
know for
not
the like I know for the astronauts, like they'll train stuff underwater, they'll do a lot of that. But how does that work with equipment?
So you push the equipment to its limit. So like, for instance, you simulate all of the physics that it's going to be going through during a blast off scenario. So like that pressure, that temperature change, that drastic shaking that it's going to undergo. You simulate all of that on the hardware and you basically turn it up another notch. So it needs to be able to sustain things that are 10, 100x, whatever it's going to be experiencing, for proof that when it undergoes those types of scenarios and those harsh environments, that it will still function to the degree that it needs to be functioning. So we're not just building one thing that's going to go in a rocket, because first off, there are backups for every single thing on that rocket. Because once they're in space, you can't just go to your local hardware store and get something to fix it. But we're building multiple of these things so that we can run them through all of these insane test scenarios to see, okay, well, if you chill it down to this temperature and then immediately blast it up to this temperature, like what properties is it going to experience? Like how much will it change? What will the data coming out of this look like? Can it sustain that? And then you take all of that information and use it to better design the hardware that's going to go into the rocket.
And I guess that's kind of part of the process of validating like whether a component could really survive thermal cycling, the vacuum, and obviously all that radiation in space.
Yeah. And a lot of these pieces, like, we're not redesigning the wheel. Like, a lot of missions to space have navigational systems already, but it's about taking what's already existed and making it better and tailoring it to fit your specific needs depending on which mission it's going on. And what type of journey it's going to undertake.
I guess there's probably a statistical method that you rely on to monitor this.
And we've got a lot of different like model simulations that we can run it through. And nowadays you've got all sorts of different software where you can run thermodynamic analysis without actually having to test things. You can test different stressors on it, and you can redesign components like via CAD models and see what would happen if we did XYZ instead. And then if it's actually theoretically better, then you can move forward with the design process of actually getting it manufactured. But a lot of what I do as a quality engineer isn't so much on the design side, it's more so on the testing and risk analysis side.
Are there things that you realize once it happens that like, wow, we did not even think about this?
Oh, so many times. So many times. Oh, and some things they'll fail and no one will know why. And we'll spend forever trying to figure it out. And then when you finally figure it out, it's like, oh, that was the most obvious solution. But somehow this room full of brilliant engineers had no idea. Like that just was not what we were thinking about.
I forget which astronaut it was, but he was doing some maintenance on the side of the space station, and the male and female, the screw and the nut, they were the wrong sizes, so they gave him the wrong bolt to go into the female side. They wouldn't fit. So he asked the other astronaut like how much time does he have until they're in view of the sun, and they had like 10 minutes or something like that. And it kind of goes to that extreme variable of how the temperature changes so drastically. He hid or like covered the bolt into his suit, like just kind of just tucked it in his hand. And when when the space station finally went in full exposure of the sun, I mean, you're talking hundreds of degrees of heat. And then he took the bolt that he was covering and bam, it fit right in there.
Yeah, I mean, everything about space is so extreme. Like the environment is so harsh out there that and everything has to be manufactured to sustain stuff like that. Like what happens when you do go from the sun side to not in the sun? And for a journey like this where they're out there for so long and they're going farther than any humans have gone before. Like they're going around the earth and then fully around the moon and then coming all the way back. Like it's more than a figure eight. Like they're like nothing can fail because if you're on the other side of the moon and something fails, like you're stuck. Like you're just there. Your comms don't even work from that side. You can't get a hold of anyone on the other side and you don't have the access to things to fix it. Like it's a lot of pressure on everyone involved.
When you're that far out, I mean, at that point, you don't even have comms with Earth at this point. So even like the minor deviation, like microfractures or electrical noise, that can still change everything.
Yeah. And it's not just the distance, like it was the blockage of the moon being in between them and Earth. Like we can't transmit through that. Like that's the entirety of a moon. Like we don't have that kind of technology at this point. So it wasn't until they came around the other side of it that they were able to communicate again with the Earth. And it really is fascinating though. Just like the idea of what humans are capable of to be able to make something that can explore so far out into space, into such crazy environments. It's impressive. It's amazing.
Yeah. You think we're going to get there where you can communicate on the moon base that they hope to make?
I think so. Yeah. Like we've got Artemis 3, 4, and 5. So Artemis 3 is already, and they've been working on that kind of as Artemis 2 has been getting ready to go. But that one's going to land people back on the moon. And then I think 4 is when they're going to start to build the base. And I know the eventual plan is to be able to set up like a long-term base on the moon to be able to launch people from there to Mars, which is just like a wild concept, but I don't doubt that it's possible.
I feel like that's one of the big challenges that'll be coming next. It's just that propulsion. Because I know on Earth you have to have rockets. There's nothing that we've discovered, either nuclear or electrical, that can break us from the planet. Now I'm sure the moon might be a little bit different, but I feel like just the propulsion aspect of it is going to change.
Oh, definitely. It's a whole different physics problem because the gravitational pull of the moon is significantly less than the Earth. But then you're also dealing with all of the physics involved in that. It just with the different gravity going on there, that changes up all of our standard known equations and introduces a whole lot of new equations.
That's a lot of math.
It's a lot of math. And then
Well,
you launch things into space and start heading towards Mars, and that a whole lot more math. Like going from the moon to Mars is entirely different from going Earth to Mars. So then what do those equations look like? And what factors have we maybe not thought of yet that we would encounter along the way?
yeah, I feel like that's a good point because as these missions go further, they last longer. The engineering challenges seem to just multiply, especially as we're thinking about a moon base going to Mars. And I guess, like how does quality engineering, like how is it evolving with all of these missions?
It gives me the opportunity to say no to a lot more crazy ideas. Like, if anyone comes to me and they're like, well, we think it's acceptable, the answer is just no. Like, I don't want to hear that you think it's acceptable. Like, I need to know that you know that it's acceptable. Otherwise, like, we don't have room for error here. Like, and that's something that I've loved about being in aerospace is how much people care. Quality matters so much because you have to care. Like you don't have the room to not care. So especially as these missions start to get more advanced and they're going farther and doing things no one's ever done before and looking to building bases on the moon, like it's got to be perfect. It just has to be. The quality standards get stricter and the quality engineers need to be more picky about what we'll let slide.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, with navigational equipment, like these have to be radiation hardened components, which, I mean, it's a fault tolerant design, but you still have to account for all of those little details. And as I guess material science would advance, I mean, there's just so many composites and radiation resistance in electronics that we still have to improve.
Oh, and there's so much we don't know about it just because like the radiation in space is so different from basically anything that you would normally experience. And even with all of the space exploration missions we've been doing and the International Space Station getting all of their data, like there's so much that we don't know. We don't know all of the things that we don't know, and there's no way to know them until we know them. So it's hard to make standards for things that are not standardized yet. Like we don't have the data to be able to make standards.
Well,
That's part of the exploration. That's actually some of the stuff that they're testing up on Artemis 2 right now to be able to better prepare for the next missions.
yeah, because I guess at the end of the day, it's not just engineering. It really is enabling human exploration.
Yeah, feat of human potential.
As long as the momentum stays, we are entering another golden age of space exploration.
Oh, I hope so. Gosh, I've loved seeing how much people are rallying behind Artemis 2 and how excited people are about space again. Like, I feel like for a while, I mean, it's been over 50 years since anyone's been up to the moon. And like people seem to just kind of either forget that it's there or they're worn out by the SpaceX launches that happen every other day. Like space wasn't exciting to the average person anymore. And it seems like now that's really picking up steam. Like people are starting to care a lot more about space.
And that's what I think is cool too, because I mean, I know for you and me, a lot of that big space race stuff, that was before we were born.
Yeah. But I don't know if you could see the launch from where you were, but it's really cool to be a part of the next phase of history and to see it happening in real time.
I'm excited for it. It was cool to see it from my house. We made some dinner, sat on the tailgate and ate dinner and watched a couple seconds of the rocket, saw the tail, and there it was.
Hey, there you go.
But I guess kind of with that, all of that engineering background, a lot of statistics, a lot of running analysis. Are there similarities between how you do an ultra marathon and engineering?
Very many, yeah. But I would say for as much as you can try and engineer an ultra marathon, it almost never works out the way that you can plan it. Like there are things that happen during ultras that you can't possibly plan for, and that's part of the fun of it.
That's the acceptable risk.
Oh, that is a large, large risk margin. As a quality engineer, I don't like that margin. Because now I'll sit around and I'll make spreadsheets for ultras all day. Like, I love to think through how I'd like to run an ultra in an ideal scenario and like plan out like exactly how many carbs per hour, break down the sodium content, hydration, your elevation gain, ideal paces. I'll make spreadsheets all day, but do I actually run by them? Not in the slightest. It's more for just the thought experiment of it.
Well, after like 8 hours of Berm, you do have to watch, how much fluids you're taking, how much salt you're intaking, how many carbs do you need?
Yeah, but that's the nice thing about the loop courses. It's like you're never more, Berm is like 6.5 miles. Like you're never more than 6.5 miles from getting back to your stuff. And then you can grab more water, you can re-electrolyte, you can kind of do like an assessment of how you're feeling and what you need for that next loop. But yeah, that one salt becomes a major factor for sure.
Yeah, because obviously you said it before, you're doing Berm next, or well, this year. You've got that whole August lineup, but what's next on the calendar for you?
Oh, next one is not this weekend, but next weekend. It's an East Coast Adventures race. It's their first year doing it. But it is the World's Fair Ultra. So it's held in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is my hometown, born and raised Knoxville. My family's still all out there, but you're running around this monument that they have that's called the Sun Sphere, and it's kind of like a golden water tower is what it looks like. It's this giant golden sphere that's just in the middle of their World's Fair Park in downtown Knoxville. So the race is a little over a half a mile loop around the Sun Sphere, and they have all sorts of distances you can do, but the main event would be the 24 hours, because if you can make it 100 miles, then you get this beautiful looking Sun Sphere buckle, which any ultra runner just wants a cool looking buckle, let's be honest. And that one is a very cool looking buckle. So my next race will be the 24-hour out at World's Fair.
Getting that 100 miles.
Gotta do it. Dude, the Sun Sphere buckle. It's like the epitome of Knoxville. I want it so bad.
And it's a short loop course. I think it's like 0.6 miles around that World's Fair Park.
Yeah. So like you have access to your stuff all the time. So it's another one, like theoretically, you can engineer that one very well. Theoretically. Now, can you actually? Probably not, because a million things happen during an ultra that you can't plan for. But I like the idea of it.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I remember hearing about that on their podcast.
You should come out. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
It'll
'cause
be like the first ultra that my family has ever seen.
oh, there you go. Well, they can see the whole thing. See, that's the kicker there.
Right? It's not like I'm asking them to come out to like a point to point 100 mile or something where you'll see me for 5 seconds and then I'll be gone. And then you can drive for another couple of hours. And like it's accessible. It's very easy.
It's just like the 5K, but a lot longer.
It's just like a lot of 5Ks, a lot of them.
But yeah, and after that, I mean, you've got the full August, and I think Tampa Bay.
I do, Tampa Bay 100. Since I paced a friend last year for the last 30-ish miles of it. And yeah, it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. And like I was volunteering at an aid station during the day, but it's a very well put on race. Congrats to the RD. It's a good one.
Yeah, Cooper's Bayou. You were at the new aid station, the one that's just after the Courtney Campbell Bridge.
Yeah, there to rescue the burnt runners.
Yes. Yes, a lot of people it seemed like a lot of people had dropped at, the Jeff Iosa aid station in Dunedin, so that aid station seemed like it was definitely a necessity.
Oh, people loved it. And we only had one person drop at that aid station.
A new record, yep, just one.
Yeah. And I think
Whereas the previous 2 years, I mean, it was 18 people.
I think just knowing that they could get like a hat full of ice and maybe like something cold to drink, that was enough. Like just having that little bit of cool down made them carry through to the next spot. Because it's really not all that far from Cooper's Bayou to the next aid station.
And if you do get too hot, I mean, there's a Publix on the way between. You can always hop into the Publix, sit on the bench, I guess, I don't know, take your weight while you cool down, get a pub sub.
Oh, there we go. Now that would make the race even more iconic, Florida. You gotta stop in at Publix, get a pub sub, and keep going.
I think there's 3 pub subs that are close enough to course. Or not pub subs. I mean, there are 3 so Publixes.
Priorities.
Whatever you go to Publix for, other than the sushi day and pub subs.
I mean, do they have anything else? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Oh,
That's all I
there's
go there
fruit bowls.
for.
Nah, you gotta get the fruit bowls. The fruit bowls are elite.
I could just get a whole fruit and cut it.
Oh, and it'd be so much cheaper, but it wouldn't be in a beautiful looking bowl already cut up and ready for you. God, they get me every time.
It looks good. It's there. It's ready to go. You just pop the lid off.
Oh, I know. And like after a long run, like I want nothing more than to just like lay on my couch and eat an entire fruit bowl. They're beautiful. They're so easy. But yeah, so Tampa Bay 100 should be rounding out the year.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Probably throw a couple more races in there. Right now I promised myself I wouldn't sign up for too many things before I complete World's Fair. Just like I've got to mentally focus on this one and give it all I've got. So I didn't want to sign up for anything in case I decide to destroy myself during this race.
Well, that's always the way to go. And that's usually how this sport escalates itself. You kind of just somehow you're here and somehow you're there. And now the miles have really started to wrap up in some weird way.
And it does always end up like that.
And I guess, we can kind of start to close it out with, I mean, your background, you weren't a runner, you became a runner. I mean, you were surrounded by a lot of people who were positive influences between Run Club, CrossFit, a lot of different groups and the races that you went to. I guess what would be that biggest advice for people who are either just starting or trying to make that next big jump in distance?
I'd say believe in yourself. You're capable of doing it. If someone else can do it, you can do it. And don't count yourself out for that. Like, if you're willing to put in the work, you can achieve anything. 100%. That's my life. Like, I couldn't run. And hell, if you can take a college girl who can't run a quarter mile, and now I'm planning to go and run 100 miles, like, yeah, anyone can do that. Like, if I can do that, anyone can do that. We're all just people.
And that's what is nice when you show up at an ultra and you realize, hey, wait a minute, these are a lot of just normal people.
They are. And the best people. Like normal people.
Yes.
This is great, though. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate it. It was cool. But all right.
Probably. I'm going to be tired tomorrow. I'm blaming you.
Same.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, good night.
Night.
And there we have it for the chat with Shannon. It's kind of like what she said. You just have to go out there, believe in yourself, and go for it. It's not just about the miles. It's about believing in yourself and how far you're willing to push yourself. And of course, good luck to Shannon with that World Fair Ultra, her busy schedule of races, and eventually at the end of the year, that Tampa Bay 100. So hey, with that, until next time, happy trail.
Miami out to the East Coast, Daytona, Jacksonville, Pioneer Trail. On a single trail, running 1 to 100 miles, aid station to aid station all around. The Florida Trail running. Feet hit dirt where the palm trees sway. Mossy oaks, palmetto pines, and cypress knees. All grass bending, go find your way. Swarm mist rising every step I take, I feel it flow. Beach sunrises, beach sunsets, sugar sand all around. From the Swanee River to the St. John,